The first thing people will see.
I like that little sun, the glowing glow from the lights. Hello.
I think Townley showed up tonight. He mentioned something about picking that kid up on 100 and something in Q.
Oh, that's Sean? Yeah. So wait a little bit.
So, yeah,
Who's the other
two more
presenter?
showing up.
He's not gonna. He's gonna do it in February.
Oh. What's that, part 7 of the multi-router thing?
No, the Chumby. Aaron Grothy had gotten some Chumbies.
Oh, did you get a chunky?
Yeah, he was going to, because I think he was going to tear part of it apart. Woohoo!
Oh, that's pretty cool. Huh. I don't know, I've seen it at work before. At first when I've seen one actually work.
Oh, the smart board?
Yeah. Like, it's just something that never gets used.
It's here.
Yeah, just
It's
keep,
slightly off.
Just keep Rob away from it.
Yeah, he wrote on it last month.
Picked up one.
I freaked out.
Whiteboard markers. Like,
It's like, wah! From the back of the room.
I like the permanent marker on the dry erase board. That's my favorite.
Well, it was like 2 years ago. I came down to the lab after somebody like the day after.
Yeah.
And they had written on this. And then it's had a day to set up. And I'm like, holy crap! How am I going to get this off?
Oh.
What are you looking for?
Rob just sent a text message saying I-80 totally blocked.
Yeah, there was an accident that I saw on the way down here.
Huh.
Where's games?
Oh, I haven't taken off.
I was going to show him solitaire.
Is this the OLUG meeting?
Sure. Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, sure.
What's your name?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin!
Hooray! 2 Chads, 2 Kevins.
2 Chads, 2 Kevins.
I need a John. Please,
Buddy
someone.
John showed up.
The odd name, John.
There's another text. Oh, that's from Rob Townley. I-80 delay. I should add him into my contacts. Well, we can talk about other stuff. Out of all Chads and Kevins surveyed, the number of... Now, there might be 2 more Kevins.
Really?
Yeah. We'll see.
Right, everyone take it down.
As long as I get to be Kevin too.
Ooh.
That's
Delete.
not a bad idea. Go by the order everyone showed up.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a first come, first served name. What the hell? You take it. It says I'm due.
Huh.
Has that got haptic feedback? Like a cell phone?
Yeah, I can do just about anything you want.
Oh, that's very apt. It's cold out. Oh, we're not scrolling, are we?
Yeah, where's the scroll? Huh.
Oh, it's off the edge of the screen. We're missing a little bit of a...
Hold on.
Well, no, I mean, you don't even see it. See, the X is missing.
Okay, we'll do this.
Now you gotta reorient.
Come on.
You gotta go over.
Get it over there.
I wonder if the fire trucks are responding to the accidents. So they're going all the way up here. That's a different engine company. Normally they come from this way.
Well, I saw one on 480 on the way down.
Huh.
So I would take the ads and bring card.
See, this is clever Chinese made another one. Follow me on again.
There we go. Somebody from Finland.
It's all about Interstate 80. No.
Huh?
Student. Is the password? Maybe I tried blank.
Student. Is this something you're looking up?
Yeah, apply for this job. Doesn't show.
When you were applying for a job?
No.
It's just. Hi, Brian. Well, thanks.
Who are these people?
What's this?
Have you, Kevin, have you integrated Samba with Active Directory at all?
Brian, you're now a
I
moderator.
have not touched Samba.
Samba, okay.
So I'll be trying to
All I'm
absorb
gonna,
what I can.
yeah, all I'm gonna do is just kind of show some highlights of what I like to use when integrating Samba with Active Directory. So things that make it work, make it happen. Things that I've run across that have been absolute headaches.
Is it me or you?
Both. Have you been here before? Okay. John and I both work for the AIM Institute. We do careerlink.com, aiminstitute.org, and pretty much our company owns this building, and we do this training lab down here too. John, you're president or VP of OLUG?
No, I'm a vice president of community development. Our president, Brian Robertson, is actually in chat on our Ustream stuff right now. Our vice president could not make it tonight. That's Adam Hayter. There was a conflict that turned up at the last part of today. Thank you, Brian. Brian has moderation powers on the Ustream channel, and some 15-year-old girl just got bumped. You trying to comb your hair?
Yeah. I've never been on TV before.
It's the internet.
Thanks, Brian. I try. What's YW?
You're welcome.
No. Thanks. That was John's nose. Thank you for spelling it out, Brian.
There's an odd delay, by the way, when you're doing this stuff. So he may not hear that until like another minute. It's one of the things about streaming videos sometimes. It's really odd.
Huh. He says it's pretty close.
Oh, that's good. There's probably 5 seconds. Did you know that there's a Ustream client for the Android?
No, I did not.
There's a viewer and a broadcaster.
Well, John thought there would be a lag, but
So you can
I think
actually
it's
just
pretty close.
broadcast from the phone itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did a birthday party last month from Kobe Steakhouse. I just set the phone down and recorded the whole thing. And Pete Traris, he watched the birthday party from Arizona. Because he used to work here, so it was a lot of fun.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Instead of doing Google phone, we use the same OS.
Yeah. It's the Droid.
Yeah, for $530, they can unlock it for you. Crazy. As they said, yeah, it normally costs $180 if you want to buy a full plan or buy something. If you don't.
Huh. Hi, Craig. How much did you get yours for?
More than I cared to spend.
It's an interesting holster.
It's the only way I could find one that I could put one on it, and if I drop it.
Oh, it comes with the case on it, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just
Boy.
tight enough. Well, no. It depends on how you pull it.
Huh. I guess since I'm pulling it out, it's different than if
Snapping
if it's
it in.
on a side and I'm plugging it in. Well, that's really cool.
I had the snap one, I liked it, but the more I saw this one, if I drop it, I have some bouncage.
It's bounced.
No, but it'll have bouncage if I drop it instead of crackage.
You have an RSS reader, a temperature thing. You have to tell me what that one is when you get a chance.
What's up, bud?
I don't think the chat window gets recorded. I can't speak for that. I'm not sure.
I-80's in parking lot, starting at about 84th Street.
How far?
What's it?
All the way down here.
I was
I don't know.
approaching from 84th, and I aborted and just kept going up 84th.
Yeah, I was looking, well, there was an accident on 680 going north off the exit, and I went, I'm gonna take, because there was a sign that said multiple accidents
How's
on
the
80.
audio?
I was like, I'm not taking 680, that's already a parking to get off on it, because there was a 3-car right there.
Awesome.
But as soon as I got to 84th, as far as I could see was red lights.
you can hear Craig and everybody.
Rush for tomorrow. Have the accidents today. And
Yeah,
it's
those
a
are
lot
people
easier.
actually
It's a good
behind
Yeah.
the MacBook that it's picking up.
I like
It
it.
picks up pretty good. So it's surprising. Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
3.
Kevin number 3.
You're 3.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I blame the city's routing tables.
That's wrong.
Dodge past 114th was gridlock too.
What's that?
Brian says Dodge past 114th was all messed up too.
Well, it was
Well, then I
72nd at I-80 that got me.
Yep. I popped at
yeah.
84th.
I popped at 72nd, we got back on at 72nd. Yeah. Did you know how you're supposed to turn? It just kind of
Wiggled?
turned.
Should have plugged this one into the projector.
T3 was suddenly turned
Could
into
have watched the
dialogue.
comments so people could interact.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Locked out
I didn't think you wanted to
lanes.
see yourself.
You'll pay for it, to your contract.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Be nice.
What? That's what I was being nice.
Okay.
Seeing yourself is not that bad.
Okay. Welcome to the January 2010 Omaha Linux Users Group meeting. Yay.
First one.
I am your host, John H. Larson,
Hi,
Systems
John.
Engineer of the AIM Institute. As you can see, the OLUG website kind of got renovated. Joomla was a fun with PHP, so we just decided to jump ship to WordPress, make some changes. If anybody wants to help me with content, I'm more than willing to let you help me. So please, if you saw my message to the list, go ahead. Well, that doesn't show up very well on this, does it?
No.
Huh. Well, we'll change the things around a little bit. Current events. Everybody knows about the spam assassin problem.
I saw that Adam had tweeted something out about it, but I hadn't looked because I don't run it anywhere.
There's a rule in spam assassin that is like 72_active.cf, and it's doing a date check for 20 and then 1 through 9. Right? It's to put the date sufficiently out in the future. Well, it started matching to 2010 and gives you false positives. So, if you run SA update routinely, like through a cron job or something like that, you would have gotten the new one that got posted up over the weekend. If you don't run SA update, you have to manually change the file yourself. And it's not that hard. You change like the 1 to a 2. So it says 2 through 9. So, in other words, you're just pushing it off for 10 years. So hopefully they'll have a fix for it before then, rather than just some hack to the file. Let's see. I had it on one of my servers. We didn't have it on ours at AIM, which was kind of interesting. And then, really, I wonder if it was just that build for Susie that was specific.
Well, I just got through doing an update on Omaha, and I did an update on KMLC too, so maybe that avoided it.
Maybe. Because I did a grep for that entire folder and I didn't see it. Okay. What else was there? I noticed that there's at least 3 people with droids in this room. Have you had any problems hooking it up to your machine of choice?
Windows, Mac work beautifully.
Using double twist at all? Oh. That was my little nugget for the GNMUG meeting back in October.
Double twist.
You had to leave early? Yeah. It's essentially, it's like an iTunes interface, but it recognizes like 100-some devices. So it's like the non-iPod portion of it.
Okay.
And it also has the Amazon MP3 store built into it. So Coover tried it the other day, and he's like, wow, it works great. It sees the droid, and you can just say, copy my files over that are non-DRM. So you remember DVD John?
Yeah.
That's his program, Double Twist. So
I left my laptop in the truck.
it's check it out. It's pretty neat.
Double twist.
I'll start playing with it in September. I just haven't had a chance to. I think the droid's usable.
Oh yeah.
I carry both, so I get to use both. I'm answering questions. Usability of the droid versus the iPhone.
Take it from one of the leaders of the Mac user group, the droid, easily better than the iPhone. More
Until they
usable.
release a new one.
What's the iPhone missing?
Openness?
Okay, you really think that's going to happen anytime
No.
soon? All right, so
The apps come out certainly a lot faster. That's
apps are
I like
coming out,
that.
1,000 apps a week is what they're posting right now.
There certainly isn't as many farts or
Which is
or
to say-
flashlight apps, but you know, Flash is coming first quarter of 2010 for the Droid. To answer a question online. Porn, yes. If you would like to know, there is a
Talk to
complete
Chad.
app store for the Droid called MyCandy, MIKANDI, which is a porn store for the Droid.
You will
Not
be-
like I have any of that, but when you know, Identica, which is like that Twitter client I talked about last month, the Twitter service. You can subscribe to groups. So like, I always want to follow Linux. Anytime somebody puts bang or hash Linux in their tweet, essentially, I get to see it, versus having to always subscribe to people. So that was one of them that showed up under the, yeah, good announcement, under the Android stuff, as you see a lot of Android talk on here. That's all it's been for the last few weeks. Especially the Nexus 1 stuff this morning. There's a lot of people talking about that.
Anyone that's got the Droid phone has already downloaded PDA-Net, of course.
It's $30 for PDA-Net.
No, it's free for PDA-Net unless you need to get to a secure site.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
That's the only difference.
Okay.
You can't get to HTTPS.
PDA-Net is a tethering tool for the phone. So I guess I will be downloading that. As long as, so that blocks SSH?
Actually, I've got ConnectBot for SSH.
Yeah, I use that too.
Just trying to look through what I found so far.
There is an option to prevent. You can actually select install from sources that are not from the market, so you can install items that aren't there. Hi, Dave.
Hola. Ring Droid has been fun.
Mr. Hanna said that I was supposed to say, please turn on the Ustream.
He's there.
Okay. Did my duty, even if I'm a bit late.
Hooray. Long time no see, Sean.
I'm alive. But is there any room up here at the front where I can see what you're doing?
To your left.
You can sit beside me. I just nibble.
Jay says hi.
Jay says hi.
Hi, Jay.
Well,
do you want to talk? No?
The only reason I came today was for you. Yeah, right. No, really. I'm doing a Samba install here this week.
With Active Directory?
Are you still doing NDS?
What's that?
Are you doing NDS?
Actually, we are the directory services of all.
Ah, so you do
OD,
everything.
ED, AD. We just don't have.
VD?
Well, there's a couple of you guys I'd be worried about.
Okay.
Not mention my name.
Okay.
Well, this is just kind of a quick informational.
Can I make it bigger?
Sure.
Where'd you do that at?
View. Zoom in.
Control plus plus.
Control plus plus.
So when we're all done with this, we'll be able to do.
You will join Samba to your Active Directory
Okay.
server that you have. And these are just like five things that I found that you want to make sure that you do when you join Samba to Active Directory. First of all, make sure that your time service is the same as your Active Directory. Number two, the share that you're going to use, you want to make sure that in your FS tab, if you're mounting the share, that you use ACL in it. So that way it gets all the extra user group permissions that Samba uses. So usually in like an SE FS tab, it will look something like, oops.
It's a very shiny board.
This right here,
All I can see is a very shiny board.
where you just do like a comma ACL in there.
You're just adding the ACL option onto the FS the mount option.
Oh, okay.
Another thing you want to make sure is in your NS switch config that in this one I'm using WinBind to bind Samba to the Active Directory services. So in your NF or NS switch tab, you want to be able to throw WinBind in there so that your password shadow group host, it'll all use Winbind for password configurations.
So in other words, NS switches, you're telling it to look at the host file as well? Or what order it goes through?
What order it goes through.
Okay.
Usually your orders like files, DNS, hosts, or host, files, DNS.
So,
but you want to throw.
Wouldn't you normally say files, Winbind, DNS?
You can say, yeah, you can say it that way.
Because you want to look at global DNS after you look at the Windows directory.
But DNS is also controlled by Windows.
That's
in this
true.
situation.
But in this case, we're already saying that the password, the shadow, and the group, we're already saying Winbind first on those before we even get to the host. Then next, you want to be able to get your Kerberos environment up and running and talking to your Active Directory service. So in your Etsy KRB5 config, you want to set your realms to talk to your Active Directory server. So in this case, our Active Directory is omaha.org, and our DCs in that Active Directory are DC01. So we want to set that. We also want to set the domain realm.
And you have to put that in the lib defaults too, right? Up above, where it says lib defaults on
Oh,
my.org. I bet you didn't change any of those other things, like the false or the 24 hours.
No, everything else stays pretty much the same. Logging, application defaults, those are pretty much all the default settings.
Does it normally like say like example or something like that? You just replace example with what your domain name is usually?
Yeah, I think it says it's example.com
Yeah.
is what you replace it all with. Once you have all that set, then you can go ahead and set up your Samba config. And in the Samba config, I found that for the global settings, you want to set your net BIOS name, your net alias, the work group, the realm. You want to set those. If you're going to, since we're using Winbind, these are settings that need to be in there. Separator, I use the plus sign to separate the omaha.org realm with the user groups and with the group ID names.
And the UID and the GID is just a mappable number for the groups on the Unix side. It's just high enough that you won't run into it, right?
Well, it's for the Active Directory side of it. Active Directory usually uses these pretty high numbers.
Okay.
So if you have a group of 100, 200 people, this should cover it. If you've got more than 200 people, you might want to start increasing these numbers to cover that. But in our case, that covers us well into it. Security, you want to set for ADS.
That stands for Active Directory Security, right?
Yes, Active Directory Security.
Sometimes you'll see it say user or server.
Usually it says user.
Yeah.
In this case, since we already have Active Directory running and it's our
The master
master,
browser.
we just go ahead and set Samba for no on local master, so it doesn't try to interrupt or mess around with Active Directory. Once you have those global settings set, you can go ahead and join.
Do you have to restart Kerberos and start Winbind before you join?
You can restart your network services,
Oh, okay.
and that'll take care of Kerberos. Will take care of your NS switch, and get those working properly. Once you're done with that, then you can go ahead and join the Samba machine to the Active Directory server. Right here with net ADS join. -u and then administrator, and then it'll ask for a password.
Which
Then-
is your administrator password for the domain.
For the domain, yes. Commands that you can use to find out if you are properly connected. wbinfo-u, that'll show your users that are in Active Directory. wbinfo.g will show you your groups. So, in our case, we could do, and there's all of our user
Oh,
groups.
and there's the plus sign.
There's the plus sign separating the Omaha realm with the user groups. Oops. These are the groups that we have in our domain. So that's a way to test, make sure that you're in there.
Can we do a -a with my username and see
Sure.
what it'll say?
You go to mine. Well, that's going to ask for passwords.
Huh. Oh, plain text. Hmm.
Maybe that's why I couldn't authenticate.
Yeah.
May have to play with this and configure a
Did that
PBX to allow you to allow users to, or other admin users to just use their Windows Active Directory logins to SSH to it.
Yeah. There are
What's
ways
the
to do
dash
that.
A supposed to, is
Yeah.
that for authentication?
It's just supposed to show
User information.
user information, I believe.
Yeah. So if I were to put my password in there,
For everybody to see.
for everybody to see, yeah, we wouldn't have problems, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, -I get user info. Just hope it doesn't show passwords. Whichever.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe you have to pass it like administrator and the password since you're running it as a command. Don't worry about it.
Can you do a K list and see if you still have a Kerberos ticket? No?
-K.
It's KLIST. List out the Kerberos tickets that you have at the moment. It's just its own command.
Oh, K-list by
Oh,
itself.
sorry.
I can barely.
You have no tickets. You're clean.
That's fine.
Can we issue a parking ticket?
Anybody else have them? I mean, is that screen?
It's not bold, is what it is.
To me, it's just shiny.
Pretty
Is
much
that-
once you have all that set up, then you can go ahead and start your Samba services and start your Winbind
Once you get a good join.
once you get a good join.
Now, when it joins, it creates the machine account password, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then, at that point, like from MMC, you can see the machine show up in the list of what? Unassigned machine, was that what it's called? Like unassigned machines or?
Oh, it'll show up in
domain
Active Directory.
workstation.
It'll show up like in the default computers folder
Uh-huh.
in Active Directory, and if you have specialized folders for computers that are part of your domain, you can move it into there if you want to.
Oh, it's like
So like
Symantec when we do that.
yeah, so like we have specialized folders at AIM for Samba servers, so I would move this machine into that Samba folder compared to the folders that we have just for desktops or for DC controllers. And those folders we have got assigned group policies to.
Because it doesn't need to give a policy to a Samba
No,
machine.
it doesn't need.
What's the lowest version of Samba that you need? You have to have installed so that you can do this.
I think anything 3?
I think 3022 and later, I think.
302.
It was either 2.2 or 2.3. I can't remember when Windbind came into it.
But that's just one, I mean.
Somebody
is
look and
this-
see what's in Debian Edge, because it can do that.
What version of Active Directory do you guys have running here?
2003.
Brian says it's 3.
Just getting 3.
Yeah.
Because with 2008, Windbind doesn't. They've gotten rid of a lot of the Windbind type of stuff Microsoft has, so I wonder how well that would,
In what? Server 2008?
Really?
especially in R2.
Windbind is broken. Okay.
So in the latest versions of.
In Brian's words, 2008 broke ass.
Good definition. I
Broke ass, unless it's in compatibility mode.
Well, I mean, there's other ways to
Maybe he meant to say
link this problem.
ADS rather than broke ass.
Well, you know,
it's quite filling.
I think it's applicable for both.
sucks at. Oh, sorry.
That's wuss.
Oh, yeah, W's.
Oh, he meant ass.
Go, Brian.
We got a VoIP. What do we got? A VoIP connection to?
Ustream.
What?
Ustream. We're streaming everything.
Oh.
So there's a text chat. So yes, it's 3.
Okay.
Um,
I think what gets confusing though is there's other ways to do this without using Windbind. That's
wasn't it just
or
all
at least to do something.
specifically Kerberos at that point? At least that's my. I might be wrong. I just thought that was my understanding at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I would think between Kerberos and LDAP, that might be all you really need. There's
Yeah.
there's so many different.
But if you do put it in, if you do put 2008 and 2003 compatibility mode, what are you losing? Let's see what the answer is.
Good question.
Well, supposedly by Microsoft, it's a security issue, right?
Anything that's not a Microsoft client
Exactly.
connecting is a security issue.
The only thing that is a Microsoft client
Oh.
thing is a security issue.
Windbind is for name services, not authentication. Kerberos, I believe, does that portion of it. Yeah, okay. Didn't around Windows 2000 they break Kerberos or something like that, their own implementation?
Yeah, they embrace and extend.
Yes, okay.
Otherwise, screw it up totally.
The double E. Okay. Now, this is kind of related to Active Directory, but it's not really specifically. Oh, thanks. Now I lost my train of thought because I'm hearing myself. This isn't Samba related, but aren't we using an Apache module to authenticate against Active Directory? Chad? On track, aren't we using a module to authenticate against Active Directory for Apache?
Mod NTLM. Mod.
Isn't that what it is?
No.
I thought it was in.
NTLM is the old one. I think there's. And then there
It's
might
still-
be a mod AES. Apache module.
Yeah, but I mean, you can use straight LDAP too.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it's mod.
I'm looking at the screen. I'm sitting right in front of it. But I think there's more than one way to do it.
Always more
Oh,
than one way to do that.
You're looking for the. Are you in more or less? Oh, less you can do a search.
I don't think we do any special.
Yeah, it was there. I just saw the password. So you know what? Close that. tab. The password is in there. I'm not going to show it because the password's in there.
Good call.
Thanks.
It's recorded though. That's,
Oh, good point. Well, you can't read that small font anyway.
Let's see
Change
what
passwords.
let's see how low the resolution is.
Yeah. Oh,
one issue.
so they read it. Okay. I got your password.
At least they have a sense.
Surprised you didn't remember the password, Ryan. You probably made it. Oh, he's just kidding. Okay, any questions? You should say that, not me.
Oh, any questions?
The time.
You should probably be having your time sync before that too.
Yeah.
Right, and you know how in Linux you have the choice of putting it into your own time zone or UTC time? Does Active Directory convert everything to UTC time like it does with the real like ATFS file standard? I mean, do you find that that makes a difference? You know, because you know you might be reading the date out of Linux and it's putting it in UTC mode, and that's going to be 5-6 hours different than what it might look like on your server.
No, deep inside they all handle it as UTC time. Because, I mean, there's organizations that have their servers scattered across the entire countryside, and they keep the directory in sync, so,
Yeah, it's going to be UTC all the time.
yeah.
But it can still be I mean,
Local
I guess
time. The
I'm
answer
wondering,
is
you know, like, I'm just thinking, I mean, because if the time is off by more than 5 minutes, that's the default, it won't allow that to authenticate. But on the other hand,
Yeah,
I guess
but-
I'm trying to remember how I figured out that 5
local-
hours off was okay in certain circumstances and when it wasn't.
Well,
As long as your time zone variable is correct,
local time.
yeah.
That way it's the same function every time.
Yeah. It's fun as I don't understand how Windows servers can drift by 10 minutes. And nobody notices.
That's Windows time. If you change some of your, I've been messing a lot with WPKG. This will probably be a presentation here in a little bit, a couple months. But there's ways to have it do the time through that, as well as like in your login scripts, you can have it do time. But there's like 3 ways for WPKG to tell it to do time for when you're logging in and updates. Or to manipulate the registry remotely. Every time somebody logs in, you can change it.
Ryan says behind's better than ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, the other odd thing about time is
sleep changes.
if your web servers are slightly off and you have a farm of them, right, like 5,
Yes.
and one of them is off,
5, where'd you get that number from?
I don't know. Actually, no, 3. We'll say 3, okay? So we have 3 servers.
Where'd you get that number from?
Storing all their PHP session in the same folder, right? And the time's off on one of them. What happens? It logs you out suddenly when you're loading up another page. Yes. Maybe that's from experience.
Chad, are you gonna have this up somewhere?
Sure.
We'll give you a copy of it.
Yeah.
Get your flash drive.
Do you want me to include the password?
No, I kind of prefer my own. I like you guys. I don't want your password.
Chad, can I have you cat out another file?
Yeah.
The Etsy, the curb5.configuration file, and then the cached version of that? Just curious.
The cached version?
Yeah.
Yeah, like on CentOS, it's like /var/cache
Oh.
/Samba.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I can't read that, but it's Samba, and then there's the SMB_curve5 directory, and then there's another curve5 file in there. I was just wondering if you could cat that out. I was just wondering what the encryption types look like in here.
RC4 HMAC.
See that second entry after RC4? That kind of concerns me.
What, this
That's
one or
just
this
plain
one?
DES.
Yeah, just DES encryption.
Yeah, that was broken in '98.
Well, it was
If
all
it was
built
3
in.
DES or DES 3, whichever one it is, that'd be fine. But plain DES was broken in 1998. And now you can break it in
Today.
quickly with the graphics card.
Embrace and extend.
You can do that with the wireless. Too. I know what wireless security is.
Yeah,
So-
TKIP WPA can be broken out pretty
But
easily.
okay, check. Okay, now if you compare that though to your Etsy Curve 5, I bet it could be altogether different. Or if you were to hard code,
If you were hard coding that stuff in it?
yeah, I would hard code the encryption types in my Etsy Curve 5.
Oh, so you're forcing it?
Yeah, but then the cache would still be using DES, which isn't accepted by my domain controllers.
I see. So you have it slightly, you're hardened up on what your settings are.
Yeah.
Okay. So you actually are using triple DES? You don't have to tell me. Just
AES
nod once if I'm wrong.
256.
Oh, AES? Okay.
So you can, I basically, I took those 3 lines for the default ticket granting service and ticket encryption types, and I removed everything that had to do with just plain DES.
But not in this file, though. Are you saying this specific file, or you did one in Etsy?
I did the one in Etsy,
Okay.
but then I ended up having
But it
to
didn't
force
match.
this one too, because every time it reread Etsy Curve 5, it put back this DES stuff.
Well, this is coming from,
Well, isn't that when you do
Active
the
Directory.
join? I mean, I thought that's when that happens.
I think it was like a month ago or more, but I think right when I could do the join, but then when I did the second,
It is sent from the AD controller. Need to use ADS edit to change the encoding type specifically on the global catalog server, if I remember correctly, when you join. How many people knew that many, many years ago, the OLUG server also used to be us1.samba.org? It was US1, wasn't it, Brian?
well, so that's
Mailing
Brian
list.
Robertson.
Yeah. If you want to see it over on Dave's.
yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. My memory serves me correctly this time.
Is he the one that did a lot of the integration between Samba and Active Directory?
I don't know if Brian could hear that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Sounds like a great list topic.
so,
Go ahead.
well, I mean, there's just so many things that have to be considered to get this working. And keep it
Yeah, there's a
working
lot
right.
of little pieces. I mean, it was like, you just can't do it out of the box.
Yeah.
I mean, when you search for how-tos on this, there's at least 5 hits.
And none of them cover nearly all the.
You have to read all 5 of them.
And Sundays at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Is what we need is a script that runs on Linux and Windows, and it says, okay, this is what's missing in Linux. These are the tickets the encryption you'll take in Linux. These are the kind of tickets you'll take in Active Directory. These are your registry settings in Active Directory. These are your group policy objects. Like you allow.
It's a lot of
anonymous
planning and work
binds.
going into an ADS, just to get it set up. It's all decisions you have to plan and put in ahead of time.
Yeah, it would be nice if somebody had no link distribution or like a link variation or something like that, and doing control and all that setup, these kind of ways and stuff. Just modify.
There used to be.
A few things.
Can we
just skip the Windows domain controller and create a Linux equivalent of it?
Yes. Samba can be a domain controller.
No, it can be a Windows 2000 equivalent controller.
But you can also set it up using LDAP, so you can just use that type of directory, like the 389 server, I believe.
Samba 4 can be a.
But why would you be running Samba and not be running Windows clients?
Well, no, I don't want to run the Windows server that's the Active Directory.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to.
I want to throw that thing out.
I did Samba PDC at my last job. I didn't have Windows PDCs. It was actually a Cobalt Cube. How many people remember that?
They were cute.
They were neat little cubes.
They were pretty.
Yeah.
But can you join a Windows 2008 small business server?
Unless
To
it's
a
in
Samba.
compatibility.
So
Oh,
if
you
it's-
mean the server to a Samba PDC?
Well, I don't think you can join a small business server to a normal Active Directory
No.
server, can you? So
I don't think you can.
If it's an SBS mode, it won't. It is the PDC be all end all. Had that problem in a business that I was working at.
Wait a minute. SBS has to be the root.
Has to be root.
Yep, that's
The root of the tree.
Okay.
So.
Landed a new customer. Having to figure things out.
Oh. No wonder you wanted to make it.
Yeah.
Good. I try not to use SBS. PDC emulator and everything. Not sure the context.
Now, you can use Samba 4 for, I mean, it's not out yet. You can use that as a full profit replacement for Active Directory. You can even do group policies.
Do you have to use the group policy editor and then push it out as a file, or?
Well, like how it works is you go through the Windows RPC mechanism. That's a protocol you communicate with all the Windows systems. And if they're logged into the domain, then you can just send down, there's a command line in their application that can send down registry edits and stuff like that.
Okay.
So if you should be able to use the Windows-based tools, so you could use the group policy editor and stuff like that, and Windows administration, and have it compatible with Samba 4.
Well, I did that on that old Samba one I was messing with, where I just used the group policy and it would set the config file and just put it in the logon directory.
Yeah.
Version 4 started doing sysvols.
yeah.
version 4 is what?
Sysvols.
That's the quote share where it expects to find the
Dollar sysvol $.
Yeah, it's
Where it's supposed to look for the stuff.
it replaced the whole NT login directory structure.
The GPOs are in sysvol.
Yeah, like sysvol, some
Did you turn the heater
UUID,
up
something.
on fry? Is that why it's?
There's two settings to the heater. On and none. When they turned on the steam for the building. When they turned on the steam for the building. Yeah,
Sorry.
you can have, if you're not careful, you can loop that through the audio over and over and over.
Yes.
But yeah, the whole building is steam heat. So when we had those days where it was like cold in the morning and then hot in the afternoon, they didn't want to turn the heat on. So when it finally got cold, they switched over to full steam heat, and the building got pretty warm. Plus, there were leaks here and there, because some valves, the steam goes out so far, and those valves may not close or open, so people farther out are not getting the heat. So it's a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot of interesting things about pneumatics and
Sounds like a
valves.
Mr. House project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knew I would be doing this?
You actually need to have just set your valves to tweet, what the pressure is.
Oh, jeez.
I got into the ceiling last month,
Keep that out.
or no, it was in November. We were checking ceiling stuff, and they have drip pans on the ceiling tile below some of these valves, so when they leak a little bit. And I was trying to find a coax cable because we were tracing back stuff in the ceiling. And there was a trap in the ceiling, right? Mouse trap. It's not a mouse trap, it's a rat trap. It was that big.
Sweet.
Sitting next to the valve.
Does that skeleton in it?
I can't, I think it was tripped, but there was nothing in it.
Smart.
I'm not going to touch that thing.
Is that to keep somebody from playing with that valve, I guess?
Ah, there
Yes.
you go.
Tell you the worst data, this is going to be data center time. The worst data center problem I ever had was we had a toilet backflow into the false floor of our data center. Because the data center floor was lower than the restrooms. So they kept flushing it to try to get it to go down, and it just kept bubbling back up again.
Yeah, I had to work in that room.
That was not fun, was it? So all the cables under the floor, we had to hire somebody to come in
Had floaties.
and clean all the fiber and parallel cables under the floor, all the power cables. And still to this day, if I ever visit there or they open the floor today, somebody goes under there, they always go wash their frickin' hands. Because it's not fun. Not fun at all.
No, that's where you need to inject the steam heat and just, autoclave the end.
Yeah, it would probably work that way.
Okay, so the situation would be, I'm going to ask a theoretical question.
Okay, shoot, go ahead.
If you've got a Samba server that's the PDC, it's an older box, and you're running roaming profiles.
You actually got that to work.
The sad part is I've always got it to work. That's the problem.
Craig, can you repeat that?
I've got a okay, so less than theoretical.
Is it an NT4 domain type?
I've got OpenSUSE 10.2 running Samba. It's the PDC.
Okay.
And I've got roaming profiles turned on. But I've got laptops as part of the domain. And my situation is when those laptops are off the network,
They can't log in.
they can't log in.
Yeah, that's the problem with the roaming profiles.
Okay,
I
Tank.
think there's a setting,
huh?
VPN. VPN.
but you can't log in to VPN until
You can't get
you're.
into the box.
Well, it'll just be logged in automatically.
No, you need.
You won't authenticate to get you in to do the VPN. That's the problem with the roaming profile.
No, that's why you have the Teak VPN running. So when the machine boots up, the Teak VPN is running.
Okay.
You have this virtual IP address. And you have a virtual IP connection between your laptop and your Active Directory domain,
Okay.
or whatever.
That assumes
To
that-
answer your question, there's a local registry hack. I'm getting this from Brian. This is not me. It's the only option is to disable roaming profiles on the laptops is with a registry hack on the local machine.
Okay, so then they would still be able to log into the domain with their username when they're off the domain.
Yeah.
They can log in just.
So that would be like a local, they'd still have their domain login. Because we don't have roaming profiles on our stuff.
But would it be two accounts? So they log in off domain and they've got.
Only if they've logged on once. You can't have like a new person log on to it. I mean, that's like normal stuff, right? You have to have at least one login on the domain to get the items over.
Okay, that's what I'm saying is so I've got this laptop. I'm sitting on the domain. I'm doing my thing. I've got my files. I take this laptop home. I still log into it in the same manner, just not on the network. I change it from domain to local box. I still log in as Craig. Or do I have to have a separate account?
That would be a separate account. But you should,
No.
if you switch.
So what?
If you switch.
You wouldn't
to
log in as, the hack would allow you to log in with the domain listed still. So you would still have all that information.
So all that information still be there, and then when I log back in,
Just as long as it's not like you're trying to get to network drives and you still got to
No.
log in first.
no.
Okay.
Okay.
But somehow I had a previous place of employment, I had a laptop.
Are you describing a local user or a network user?
It's a network user it's a network user until that laptop leaves my building. They go home, they go to a conference, they go somewhere else.
But are they still logging
On
as a
Active
network
Directory,
user?
You just log in, cache your That's
Yeah.
not true.
It's just
Use that word, but
cache.
password.
But
Yeah.
he wants to do cache credentials as well as roaming profile.
Yeah.
Which,
You won't be able
that,
to do that. I've tried.
That's, if I can't do it with the laptops,
Yes.
I can identify those
But I
boxes.
haven't done that. That's just in a few windows, but I've tried to do that before and it does not work. You either get cache credentials or the roaming profile
Okay,
inside
but
the network.
I can turn off the roaming profile
Yeah.
with the registry hack for the laptop so that
Mhm.
they understand that if they want their crap saved, they've gotta save their crap.
To the local machine so I can get it.
Yes, Jay.
Sorry. He saw it too, as he tried to install Linux. Okay. Don't let them have your local regedit to disable roaming profiles on the laptops.
So just disable
Yeah,
roaming
for the
profiles on
for the
the laptops.
laptop.
Okay.
And that works great until it's like, hey, I'm leaving for the weekend in an hour and I need a laptop.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull one magically out of here.
I
Yeah.
just look at them and say TS.
Then you gotta
The other.
put it on the
other thing-
network and have them log into it, so it has their domain account on there,
But it'll create the account on the box.
on
Once
the
you log
laptop.
in through the domain,
But I
and
think
when they
I think
leave,
you have to have.
And then when they
you
leave,
have to
it's
hack
still
it
there.
It's still there.
afterwards.
Okay.
I think that would be the order of
Instead of
operations.
creating like a local user on that laptop.
Oh, you just been given a bill.
I hope it looks like a 10 because I like them with zeros.
325.
Maybe the easiest thing in that situation would be just give them the laptop to look at your account and have a VPN and use desktop.
My users are too stupid to figure out VPN.
And then managing local users.
They are just, it's not gonna happen. The fact that they can count to 2 with their shoes off and using their hands surprises me at times.
Yeah, that's what my dad used to do in the bank. He'd always have to VPN
For our laptops.
I don't need them
on
to
the
have access to the
and have
servers.
them
I'm
logged
not
in.
gonna give them access to the server. It's
And
just in
all the
case if they
profile,
take the laptop
yeah.
home or they take it to work on a
Group
document or
policies
something.
transfer.
And I'm
machine.
having to do crazy crap to help them understand,
That's why
okay,
Chuck
when
Knox
you're at
was
home,
getting
you log into
pro-
this account and save your stuff over here.
Policy
Yeah.
So that way
updates
when you've
whenever
got
you log
login
in.
on the network, you can go back to that and pull it back over.
Yeah.
And it just,
That's
this
those are
just,
mine.
yeah.
It's really a poor design by Microsoft, in my opinion. And there's just no,
Well, no,
for a
With-
lot of things when it comes to that. I mean,
but with our NetWare, on in my regular day job, we use dynamic local users. We DLU, so when he sits down at a box, it creates an account for him. On the box, Windows accounts with settings and such. It creates that information. It's not a roaming profile, but it creates that account. And then when he leaves with that box, he can still log in just fine to that account. When he comes back into the building, logs into the network, it's still the same account. His My Documents are still there. His favorites are still there.
It seems when it gets to work.
What's that?
Does it sync up when it gets to
No
work?
syncing.
No?
No, there's no syncing.
The next time
No
it talks to the
roaming profiles.
network, it gets whatever group policy or WUS stuff that's going to talk to.
Right, it'll push that stuff down, but like I said, that's what I'm trying to figure out is, this would be the way to do that, turn off roaming profiles, you log in,
Yeah.
they've
On
just
the
gotta
domain.
save their crap up.
the thing that in 2008, R2, but you also have to have Windows 7 and maybe Windows Vista. Microsoft is advertising, marketing this Direct Connect, and it's using IPsec, IP6, and then IP4. So that no matter where the laptop is, it can still be in
Oh,
contact with
yeah.
the domain.
I've read about
And
that, yeah.
that's why I'm interested in Tink and other
It's
solutions
that-
like it, because
Uh,
it allows you
Just
to
an IPv6.
have like a
What was
virtual
that
Active
VPN
Directory
that began
network.
with an H?
What's that?
Wasn't there some VPN thing that began with an H? Hamachi?
Hamachi. It's,
Hamachi,
Tink
yeah.
is like Hamachi. in
It's
that
like
sense.
that? Okay.
So that you could be anywhere, but you still have to have some kind of network connection, effectively, to the internet.
Right.
So you can be anywhere, but your Hamachi, or in my case, Tink IP addresses are all virtual. So they all appear on the same LAN, even though they could be around the world. It's actually.
Is
I mean,
Tink different enough where you can assign the IPs for these people to have? Because Hamachi was like, everybody had the same address pool in all the Hamachi. I thought that was how Hamachi worked.
Well, but even if you are in the same address pool, you couldn't connect unless you had,
The
your partners had
certificates.
public-private key pairs.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I remember.
So, but Amachi's so much easier to set up than Tink. It's improving. He's actually made a change in the last couple of weeks just for me. For the thing where you have laptops connected in different ways, internally and externally. But that was the idea, but it still doesn't solve the whole roaming profiles thing.
Like I said, roaming profiles was just a nice feature. When I set them up originally, there was no laptops.
Yeah.
They just weren't using them, and now half of them are laptops. The new business I just landed that I'm trying to get set up, they're 2/3 laptops. And I don't want to go through this headache of having to explain to these people how to play back and forth, but if I turn off roaming profiles, that's fine, I can do that.
You know, and after 10 years, Microsoft is pushing this direct connect, but I'm saying Hamachi or Tink VPN or one of the other peer-to-peer VPNs where you have a virtual
Yeah, it's only
LAN.
to survive, maybe good checks.
That's effectively what they're doing.
Okay.
Just in the shell. Huh? Are you worried?
I
It's
guess it
already
makes more
shown.
sense just to turn off roaming profiles
I don't have my
completely.
I mean,
publisher.
if you got mostly laptop users, just turn off roaming profiles because
And then I don't have to worry about red tags or anything, you'll still create the account on the local box, and they can use that account when they leave, when they come and go.
yeah.
But if you turn off roaming profiles, what most people do is redirect the My Documents folder.
To the server.
And what happens when you're not connected to the LAN?
You have no files.
And any application that's trying to open the My Documents folder can't see
Chose.
it.
Yes, correct.
So-
The other thing, I mean, you could enable offline files mode, which makes a copy of everything.
Oh, God.
No, you can't.
No,
No,
God,
you
no.
can't. People want to
No.
talk about idiot. I mean, you have to be a really advanced
No.
user, I think,
Yeah.
to do that well.
Yeah.
It's the way to go, but
I think I can train a user on, look, your crap's here. If you want it saved somewhere else to protect yourself, you've got to move it here. If you don't, Tango uniform versus what I'm doing right now of, okay, use this account, save over in this area, and then when you can log in, and you gotta do this, and then it's gotta be here, and then you've gotta be there.
Well, you know,
Drinking has become a very good pastime for me.
something you could do is, leave their files on their machines, but when you know they're at at work with their machine, have someone like backup PC go out and snag their entire drive, make a copy of it.
Yeah.
Chad, why don't you tell them about that thing you showed me, the Get Dropbox? Just, I don't know if you
Oh,
would
that's
have, could have, what's that?
What?
Get Dropbox? It automatically syncs like 4 gigs for free.
Well,
I had my
it's
lecture
2 gig
on it.
for free,
And
but that all goes over the cloud. I mean, you guys got access. I mean, are these computers gonna be online where they can get to the regular internet? And
Normally, yes, but
Yeah,
they're
you
doing
could.
things offline.
I mean, you
Locations.
could do that. I mean, you do it out to Dropbox.com, get it to a free account, 2 gig.
Yeah.
You drop a file in there, it syncs up, back up to Amazon E3 servers. If there's multiple PCs, it bounces around between multiple PCs. So.
it's a big enough problem that Get Dropbox should think enterprise-wide instead of just personal use.
but there should be
Well, the problem there
an
was
enterprise
a lot of
product
businesses-
rather than use.
Yeah, use a free software.
I know Google Docs is great, right? But do you really want all your users suddenly creating accounts and putting company information in that stuff?
So that's when you
Well, a
use
lot of
apps.
But a lot of your email might be with your ISP.
A lot of large companies too take like Google Docs, and that's online storage, so it's banned to go. You can't get to it.
Oh, that's how they classify it?
Yeah, online storage, personal storage.
So that's WebSense or something like that. You're using that to block it.
I see it with a lot of them. I think even OpenDNS has the
Yeah,
same option.
OpenDNS
Yes,
has a category
they do.
for it.
They do.
That's why whenever I go in a place that's got funky DNS, I just change to my DNS server.
And that would be one problem with Dropbox in the enterprise is it's online storage. It's user personal storage, so large companies might ban that, not allow you others. My company won't let you do it.
I wonder if that eucalyptus thing, it's more
So.
cloud
That
stuff.
could, but the company would have to stand up internal and then depending on what they do to connect different, so a really large company with divisions here, in the southeast and the northeast, you gotta connect all that stuff over to regular internet.
Craig, your beach perch upgrade.
Upgrade to what?
You need a 2K domain.
It is 2010,
It's the year we make contact.
Like I said, a 10.2 server is due for an update, but I'm nervous to put anything else on it because it's a 6-year-old, 7-year-old server with 1 gig of RAM.
You might be able to roll an RPM upgrade on that 10.2 server.
You might be able to qualify for welfare.
Just install
Do you want to
Debian.
know my problem
Just
with this
install
whole
Debian
situation?
instead.
Is that's also my router. That's also running Quagga, OSPF. It's their primary file server. It's their database server. This box is well past its prime for surviving this. I'm just waiting.
If you want to hear about a box well
I'm
past its
just
prime,
waiting to make a lot of money over a weekend, piecing together parts to get them a machine that works again. I'm going to make a killing one of these weekends, or one of these days. I'll take 2 days off of my regular job to bring them back online. They don't think they completely understand that they're going to lose their phones, their data. They're going to lose their ability to do anything if this server goes down, and it's approaching 7 years old.
But they don't.
10.2 7 years ago?
No, I've updated it
Oh,
3
okay.
times.
All right.
But it's
So you're talking physical hardware.
It's fact the
Physical.
the fact of the hardware is trying to die.
I lost one drive already out of the RAID, and I was able to replace it. It's an HP server. It's a quality server, but 7 years running your enterprise on it.
Running everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much everything. I'm nervous. I just don't sleep real well at night right
Find the one that matches it and like take it and virtualize it across the 2 machines instead.
now. Anyhow,
Do you use NT Land Manager for what version of NTLM? You authenticate to that Samba box?
It's just 2003. It's just 2003 ADS is what it is.
But in 2003 ADS, you can still tell it to use Land Manager. You can tell it to refuse Land Manager.
I don't think it's ever been changed from
From the
what it was
default.
installed. Thanks, Chad. Everyone.
thank you, Chad.
Anything from the audience?
Thanks to everybody's input on my fun questions.
Somebody has. You have a pallet full of net vistas? You getting ready to make a farm?
E3,
Ooh.
500, 512 meg.
Make them into a cloud.
Beowulf.
The lights will dim.
Is that enough to run a Myth client still? So like if you wanted a Myth client on your TV,
If you have a hardware,
solid
if
state
you
hard
have a
drive?
hardware encoder, you're like 1.3 gigahertz.
Even with a hardware
Listen,
encoder,
I
you
have
need
a
one.
question about that. What if you don't have like a TV recording back and but you're just streaming from like an internet mesh or a couple? What is the back end specs and things?
Well, it's all geared around having the card configuration and everything in there.
Yes.
'Cause that's
Um,
what I've been trying
You
to
would
decide
better
to
off
move
with
away from.
you
like,
probably,
Xbox
what,
Music.
XBMC?
The
or-
XBMC or
Yeah.
Geekbox.
Or Boxy or one of the various things.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at.
There's also Miro, which is more of a client desktop thing.
Yeah, Miro's kind of cool if you subscribe to television, streaming video.
They got a lot of PBS stuff on there.
Yeah, you BitTorrent all of it down.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question then. Somebody brings it, brought it up. You got a Myth back in. Can you run Netflix through it?
Boxy? Doesn't Boxy run Netflix? I haven't played with it yet.
There
I
is a
think
Netflix
Netflix is
plugin for that.
The,
Microsoft.
the,
No, it only
the
manages
plugin
the queue.
only manages the queue.
Just like on the phones, those little Android phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear the answer.
Being able to stream and watch Netflix through Myth TV.
It doesn't want to support it. the Netflix people want to use some Windows media player codec, I
Yes.
think.
However they can control it.
Yeah. Because
Like I said, worst case scenario is I buy a Blu-ray player that has Netflix.
Yeah, I use a PlayStation 3.
Yeah, but my wife won't let me get another console.
Get a Roku.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Get a Roku.
That's as much as the next.
A Roku box. It's like this big.
I was gonna get one of those Acer Aspire
And it-
desktops.
It does, it's like 99 or some dollars or $110. There's HD version, and it's all streaming stuff. You can do Amazon or Netflix.
and,
The Roku stuff was designed by Netflix, right?
How do you spell it?
ROKU.
and
The
sure,
day before they were going to release the
Don't
product,
don't Google it. You'll find exotica.net.
Really?
the day before Netflix was going to announce the product, they spun off the entire company and said, "We are not in the hardware business. We are in the content business,"
No,
so on and so forth.
no. Roku was separately because they made a streaming audio server device first.
Really?
Yes,
Hmm.
it's
$79.
the most ugly device.
There's an HD version with HDMI. So the old SD version doesn't have HDMI on it. It'll be on Amazon because they sell it for the Amazon on demand.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is no hard drive in it,
Yeah.
so it just caches it.
Well, that means I gotta get I gotta get the rest of my network punched down, huh?
Yes. Are you looking to me?
No, I'm just, got the basement punched down. Only been in there 4 years.
Time for beer, Omaha Chad says. Where is Omaha Chad?
Really, really close. Somewhere in Omaha.